Hello everybody, my name is Brian Nunez. I'm the Losi brand manager. And I want to thank you and congratulate you on recently purchasing your Promoto-Mx. And if you haven't bought one yet, way to get a head start. Let's go through the quick start guide. The first thing we're going to do is actually install your fully charged battery into your motorcycle. I'm going to put these AA's here on the side for now. We'll grab our bike. And the first thing you're going to want to do is pull the pin. There's a nice little rubber tab you can just use to pull out. You can use the exhaust system in order to just drop the door down. Grab your fully charged pack, and you want to make sure that the cord or the actual cables are coming out on the right side of the motorcycle. Insert your battery. And one thing you're going to want to make sure not to miss, just to make your life easier, is making sure that you tuck the wires underneath, and there's a groove cut out into the exhaust that will hold those wires in place as you close the door. I'm going to flip this around so I can see what I'm actually doing. You just got to put a little bit of light pressure on the door, insert your clip back in, like so. And now, plugging in your battery is as simple as just moving the plug, a nice little push, and you're all set. All right, so now that your battery is installed into your motorcycle, it's time to pay attention to the transmitter. We're going to open up the battery door and install these AA's that are supplied in the box. Close this back up, and we'll start the starting sequence. First thing to do is to turn on your transmitter by a simple push of the button in the back. That's on. And one key thing that you're going to see in the quick start guide is that the motorcycle is on the stand. What we're trying to communicate there is that the motorcycle needs to be 100% stationary without any type of movement. It could be on the stand or it could be on its side. Just to show you an example of what not to do, I'll put this stand aside. I'll turn on the bike. Try to hold it as steady as I can. And the system is not going to arm itself, and the radio is going to tell us. See those lights that are flashing and you hear that sound? That means that your system is not activated or ready to go. So we're going to turn this off and reset everything. And again, you can do this on the stand or you can do it just the bike being on its side. We'll turn on the radio, pushing the back of the button. We'll push the power button on the side of the bike. Just let everything sit. And it takes about 5 seconds to arm itself. And you'll know it arms itself. The radio will tell you that was a check mark, and now your battery indicator lights are on. Right now we have 50% battery. So we'll go ahead and put the bike back on its stand, and we'll move on to the next step. All right, so now that everything's ready to go and armed, a few key things you want to take into consideration. Unlike an RC car, a motorcycle is different. When you turn right, your steering's actually going to turn left. You turn left, your steering turns right. If you want to learn a little bit more about kind of the details of why it does that, we'll do that in another video. All you need to know is that nothing's reversed, nothing's broken, that's normal. And before you go ride, you're going to see an actual switch here that says flywheel off, flywheel on. The motorcycle will not run with the flywheel off. Flip a switch, and now you're activating your flywheel. Now it takes about 30 seconds for the flywheel to fully spool up and be ready to actually use your motorcycle. So it's been about 30 seconds, and you can tell by the frequency of the flywheel or the sound that it's given off is very consistent. That means that it's no longer spooling up and it's ready to go for your first ride. But before we get there, let's go through a quick crash course of your transmitter controls. I'll pull the bike towards me, and as you squeeze the throttle trigger, your bike's going to accelerate. If you push it forward, you have your brake. So, now that we're going kind of have a crash course of your transmitters, let's talk about your first ride. Now the main key thing you need to know is that even though you have a rear electronic brake and a front mechanical brake, the bike is pretty fast and it can take up to 100 feet to stop the bike from full throttle to fully stopped. So just make sure when you go out for your first ride that you give yourself enough room around you and enough stopping distance to make sure you don't hit anything. So now let's talk about steering your motorcycle. Unlike a car, you can't just go full throttle turn or crank the wheel and have it drift into a corner. A motorcycle is real different, not just in RC, but in real life. In real life, if you want to turn a real motorcycle, you have to slow down before that turn and actually turn the corner and then accelerate out of the corner. It's the same thing with an RC motorcycle. The faster you go, the less the bike's going to naturally want to turn, just given the physics of it. So when it comes to doing that nice hairpin turn, that nice U-turn on or off the track, make sure that you slow the bike down appropriately in order to let it to turn, grab a grip of throttle, and get out of that corner. So once you're done using your motorcycle, we need to talk about powering it down, because it is a little bit different than an RC car. The first thing you're going to want to do is grab your radio and turn the flywheel switch off. You can tell again by the frequency and the sound that it's starting to wind down. One key thing to note is that when you switch this off, there's a drag brake applied in order to slow that 20,000 RPM down. If you were to turn off the motorcycle without flipping that switch, or even now, if I were to turn off the switch, now that flywheel is free spinning, there's no drag brake applied, and it's going to take several minutes for that to fully slow down. So again, just be sure you turn off the flywheel, wait 30 seconds, let that come to a complete stop, and then you can turn off your bike and your transmitter. And the last critical step that you're going to want to make sure to do is to unplug your battery. Whether it's a LiPo or any other type of battery, so long as it's plugged in, you're slowly taking amperage out, so it's going to slowly drain the battery. So we'll pull the clip, drop the door, pull the plug out, get rid of the battery, and now you're all set and ready to store your bike for the next time you go out and have some fun. So now let's talk about your actual drive modes. Your bike comes standard out of the box in drive mode 1, which is dirt mode. What's cool is right here by your thumb on this toggle switch, if I were to click that up, you're going to hear 2 beeps, 2 flashes here, and that indicates drive mode 2, which is street. Go up one more level, 3 flashes, 3 beeps, that's drive mode number 3, and that's wheelie control. So you can do this on the fly. So as you're driving, maybe you're racing on the street and you want to pop a wheelie and control that, you can go from mode 2 to mode 3 as you're using your motorcycle. Just one of those key things that I want to let you know that's going to take your experience of this motorcycle to a whole nother level. Lastly, you need to know about your MS6X rate knob. Now what this does is this pretty much controls the amount that the motorcycle leans. If you turn it all the way counterclockwise or to the left, that's going to allow the bike to lean less. If you want to get more aggressive with your driving, as you go up with your skill level, you can crank this knob all the way to the right or clockwise, and that's going to allow the bike to pivot or lean much faster. Again, if you want to learn how to actually corner better, how to jump better, we'll have a video for that. So please be sure to check out our YouTube channel for the complete series of videos behind the Promoto-Mx to get you out to the track, out on the street, having fun. Thank you guys so much. My name is Brian Nunez. I am the Losi brand manager, and we'll see you in the next one.